In grade 3, my dad lost his job. There's a place where you're picked into. This thing called entrepreneurship is not a joke. And you have 24 hours to make it happen.
Cwesi Oteng Desmond is a well-established Ghanaian real estate mogul and CEO of COD Homes. He has gained recognition for his contribution to the real estate industry, both in Ghana and internationally.
I have never wanted fame and not have something to show. I was shooting videos with cars that were not mine, but today I own one of those cars.
With over 8 years of experience, he has established himself as a luxury realtor, property consultant, and developer.
Throughout all these times, what effect did your father moving away had on you? Look, if this is your first time ever seeing Connected Minds, subscribe and become part of the family. There are a lot of things that are running through my mind, because we've had a lot of conversation off camera, and I think I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to still bring that into the conversation because it was so profound. But anyway, you're welcome. Let's get started. My brother, how you doing?
I'm good. Very, very fine.
Yeah.
Because I think that all things are working together for my good. And it's amazing how God does his things with people, I woke up today with so much energy and thanksgiving in my whole person, because I just think that the universe has its own way of making things happen.
Yep.
And that's this phase of my life that I am currently. So I wish I could say I'm happily ever after. But
you are grateful,
but
right?
I'm good. Yeah,
that's
grateful.
Good. That's good. I woke up today with a lot of energy as well.
Oh, great.
I woke up with a lot of gratitude, but most importantly, a lot of things that I wanted to share, and make people understand, because when I meet like-minded people on Connected Minds, like everybody else that's been here, we've really connected.
Yeah.
But one of the things they always talk about is the mindset of the people. So I woke up, and I'm like, something needs to change.
It needs to.
And luckily for me, it was your turn to come on. I'm like, look, that's something we
The
will end up.
timing is correct.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. But Desmond, you are the CEO of COD Properties. Right?
Yeah.
Now, talk to me about your backstory. Where did you start from? Your upbringing? I want to pick some inspiration from it.
My story is inspiring. That's why if you ever hit on any of my social media platforms, it's not just about real estate. It's about giving out to the people, because I feel I owe them. And it's actually a vow. I told God, if you make me great, I'm going to make sure that I make other people become like myself, or even more. Because it's something I promised God. So no matter the backlash and all those things, I'm still on it. Now, this young boy, I came up from a very good family. I wouldn't lie about that. I started well. Went to AIS, and things took a different turn when I was about in grade 3. In grade 3, my dad lost his job. And so we had to move from a beautiful 4-bedroom house. My dad's nickname was called Stockings, because people will always stalk him, because he's a good person. He gives and all. We had to move from that lifestyle into a whole different life. And from a grade A school to a grade Z or whatever alphabet school. And, when I got into that school, when we were in grade 3 in AIS, we were learning grade 5, grade 6 stuff. Now I go into this other school and I'm in class 4. Now it's not grade again, it's class. Class 4, and we are now learning class 2 things. So I was good student. My dad couldn't handle the pressure, so he went off a bit. We don't know where he went to, but nobody for some years could locate him. So it was leaving me and my mom and my brother. And we were surviving through. It wasn't easy, bro. Mommy has to go into setting up a tabletop provision shop, into selling of rice. And I used to carry the rice, go to the market at Agomenya Market. And I'm going to give you the landmarks so that those who know this eastern region, We were living in Nwasu Newtown. You see, this is not Accra. This is not the typical Accra guy. No, in Nwasu Newtown, so many Akmon, those areas. And I went to senior high in Manya Krobo Senior High. I was a school prefect. I always wanted to go to Pope Jones or Presec. Yeah, always, but I don't know how it happened. And it was one of mommy's prayers because she couldn't afford to pay boarding school at the time.
Okay.
So she wanted a school that was just a walking distance. And Manya Krobo Senior High is like a walking distance. So I did general science there. But from there, something sparked. Even though I was in the general science class, every time I talk, like when we're in the class and I raise my voice, everybody's calm. So I realized, oh, there's something there with speaking. So even though I was in general science, I was more into, what do we call it, media and journalism. It was like a club in the school. So in there, I started training myself, and I became the president of the media and journalism. Before I left, I set up a school radio, like a public system for the school to be there. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I usually don't do this, but I want to take you back a little bit to understand where all that concept of creating, the concept of understanding yourself well enough came from.
Yeah.
From the struggle.
Yeah.
At which point?
So I think that I just got to the point where I said, I'm the firstborn. If I don't do it, who's going to do it? And if we all become weaker vessels, we'll become more weaker. And I realized that tears don't change because we've cried. We've cried. They've sacked their school fees. They've done all the things to us, and we just cried. But they didn't solve the problem. So what is the other solution? You got to work. You got to wake up. Somebody needs to take the decision and say, hey, enough of this thing. And I realized that all the people I was seeing doing well were creating something, were working for something. They were doing money stuff, things that will bring money to them. So I'm like, okay, let's go into it. So if you see me right from I was a school prefect in JSS, school prefect, senior high school, tertiary, I contested for SRC president. I lost it, but it blew me up. That was when COD as a name blew up from tertiary. So it's always been there just because I realized that if I don't do it for myself, nobody's going to do it.
You know, you could have very easily fallen into the Daddy trap.
Yeah.
Because you started off when Daddy had it all together.
I was in the trap already. If you see me and you see my brother, you understand. Yeah, I was in the trap. So sometimes when people are like, your chicks are bubbly, I understand them. Because, yeah, I've chewed a lot of chicken and all that. Yeah, but my brother is the lanky guy. Right. You could tell the difference. I fell into that trap. It was good life. It was chilling. I think it has contributed to me now, though, because I don't know how to settle for less. And regardless, once we go through the story, I'll tell you how even when I was patching with friends, I was still dressing well, smelling good, and this made them sack me because they're like, you don't have anything, but you wake up and you wear a suit and you go on radio, go and talk big English, and you come and patch with us, 10 in a room, somewhere in Chado and all that. And they're like, yo, get out of this room. Yeah.
Throughout all these times, you know, what effect did, you know, your father moving away had on you?
It's not easy to have your mom bring you up. I remember one incident where we were in a study class, like after school, we do this extra classes. And then my brother ran to me and like, Mommy is gone. I'm like, Mommy is gone. Where? He said, Mommy has been arrested because she couldn't pay the loan. Yeah. And I was like, wow. You know, so it had its own effect on me, but I think my mom is strong. Yeah, I think she's strong. So she didn't really make us have so much of the feel of not having the daddy part. She would rather run to the room and cry and quickly wipe the tears and come and cheer us up than to make us feel like we've been left alone. So she helped a lot with handling that particular side for us. Yeah.
From that early age, did you have any father figure when your father left?
Yes, I think my headmaster. Yeah, my headmaster, because he was a pastor. And my brother used to play drums. And then I used to sing and play small keyboard. So we became his instrumentalist. So he was playing that father figure role for us. And then I had my uncles on my mom's side and also on my dad's side. They were not in the country, but they used to talk to us and everything. And yeah, those were the people who were giving us that role. But mainly, I think my headmaster, Mr. Samonate, Brains International School in Inwaso, Newtown, he played that role for me.
It would be very interesting to know whether your brother also ended up being entrepreneurial.
He works with me. I do all the running around, and he's like the manager. I'm like the founder. That's who I am. I started. I know how to start stuff, but to manage the people, because I'm here today, tomorrow I'm there. He's doing the managerial role in the company, so he works with me. Yeah.
Very quickly, you've had all that scenario at home.
Yeah.
And moving up to waking up. When did you wake up to mindset, entrepreneurship?
So I think right after school, I was a good student because I knew, Charlie, there's no connection and everything. So in school, studying civil engineering, I did well, contested SRC president. I lost it, but it gave me the name. Then the dean of students said, you know what, you're not going anywhere. You need to work in the school. So I said, teaching assistant, I won't do. So they put me in the estate office. So we were doing all the maintenance on campus, like everything, lights, the furniture, everything on the campus. The estate office handles it. But then I was doubling on radio at the time. I was also doubling on radio. So I go radio 7 to 9 a.m., then I come to work. And about the 10th month, there was an HR from one of the biggest real estate companies. That's where real estate started for me. Honestly, until then, I didn't know about real estate. I was just hoping to be the guy who wakes up, wears the suit, the tie. I'm on radio, they serve me my coffee, my assistant holds the file, gives me the file, I look at the production sheets, and I'm going on TV next. That's my dream. That was my dream, though. Yeah, just to do TV, radio, and all that. But when the HR walked in and said there's a company, they are looking for estate officer of property managers, so we should all apply and come for an interview. After I walked into that interview room and I saw there's a certain life that is quite different from what I'm used to, I'm like, ooh, okay. This thing will work. Why don't we pay attention to this other thing? Yeah.
That's a very interesting concept.
Yeah.
You know, after university, you get to work within the university, right? And then you had an extra a job as well. Let's say a part-time job.
Yeah.
You know, many people will get trapped in, let me just go to work, do it slowly, and then see how things are going to pan out. And the level of thinking most of these people have is, if something comes out of it, great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And bro, the part-time job I had was not just giving me something small. It gave me fame. I was interviewing almost all the gospel acts. The biggest, I hosted MTN Stance in worship. It was one of the biggest worship events at that time. Almost all the big pastors, I had them on my show. So I had quite a name and getting something small. So I could have still laid back and say, let me just take my time with it. But I don't know. I think it's the wisdom of God. I have never wanted fame. I have never wanted to be known and not have something to show. I told God that if I'm going to be famous without having substance, I don't want it. Give me substance. Fame is an addition. I've seen what fame has done to people. I don't want to be famous. So when people are out there, it's like, oh, he's posting all these property videos because he wants to be famous. Bro, I don't want to be famous. I want to have substance. I want to share wisdom. I want to tell people that you can come from the darkest place on earth and you can survive it and you can make it. I've purged in 10 different locations, bro. 10 different places. Friends, family, move here, move there. I used to have a red bag And when I come into your house, how I will clean the house and be with you, just tell me to stay. You know, and you want to have that celebrity friend, you know, that guy who's on radio is when. So I was just perching around. So I didn't want the fame. I'm like, no, I've got a family to feed. The family is back there. They've done well. They've got me through all this, through the thick and thin. They've made sure that I've gone through all these levels of education. How do I pay them back? So when I saw that life, I'm like, okay, we die here.
Wow. We die here indeed.
Yeah.
You know, you had not done business before.
Yeah.
You had not tried anything.
Nothing.
You had no role model that was in business. Did you?
No.
So, who taught you the ropes?
Usually people wouldn't want to hear it, but it's God. I don't know, but I think that I want to use this opportunity to tell people God is real. He's real. And sometimes when you say it like this, they're like, oh no, God is in heaven. He's a spirit. But the blessings of God would come through men and will come to men. So it comes from God through men unto men. And if you don't get opportunity to go through that channel, you can actually get it directly, manna falling directly from God to you. And it's how ready you are for it. And the heart. If you see me today, bro, the content I put out, people call me and they're like, why don't you do like a class or a master class for it? Let people pay me. And I'm like, no. I don't know how I got it. But just like the pastor or the Bible will say, freely you got it, freely you give it out. And that's why I do it for free, because I don't know, but something was just moving me. And it gets interesting because you should know that I just spent 9 months in this company I'm talking about, and then I went off to start my own. 9 months. So I was still a babe. I was still just an immatured guy to start real estate. But I did it. And we're here. Yeah.
You know, like you were saying, usually when you say it is God that did it, right?
Yeah.
It's all well and good. It's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately, that's what it is. But what I try to understand is, what did you do for that to manifest?
So in the manifestation process was sacrificing myself. You know, I went into this company, we were 10 people that were interviewed. When I walked into the room, that time I used to have the spunk. If you see any of my old pictures, I had the spunk, hair, big guy. I didn't like to tuck him because my stomach would show some way. So I had left, they said we should wear black and white. I had left my white long sleeve on. And then I walked into the room and they're like, hey, corporate, get out. What are you here to do? Interview. Look at your hair, unkept. Look. And I remember it like yesterday. The financial officer, the CFO, the chief financial officer, she said, all the people we've interviewed, they've not really given us what we are looking for. If it's just about grooming, then I think that's why we are here. He'll bring us his knowledge, and then we'll also give him grooming. So let's listen to what the young man has. I saw in the interview, it took 45 minutes and 1 hour to negotiate salary. Because in 45 minutes, they could tell I'm the man for the job. And when that started, estate officer, but I kept volunteering myself for sales and marketing. So every time they were going out to do all this, this soirees, agent soirees, or doing all this marketing boot camps, I'll tell them that, please, my weekends are free. So sales manager, anytime there's opportunity, add me. Even though that wasn't my department, I was in the property management department, but I always volunteered for sales and marketing.
You're willing to serve.
Yes, service.
Yes.
Service is number one. I told you that even with patching people, when I get into their house, how I'll clean, how I'll move around, you'll be like, let him stay.
Let's bring it home.
Yeah.
What do you think is happening with a lot of the young people today when it comes to service?
When it comes to service, I think that a lot of people are missing it. Yeah, because currently everybody feels entitled to an opportunity you give to them. When you give people the opportunity to understudy you, after a month, they're like, but he's sending me to go pick up that camera. He's sending me to go take pictures of that house. So why is it that when the house got sold, I'm not getting anything? Why is it that I sat in those boot camps? The only thing I got was food and drink. There was not like money, but I built the connections. I understood how it works when it comes to meeting people and communicating properties to them. I got to understand, okay, this are the stages you take people through. I understood you don't just go to a client starting with the sale. Get them comfortable. Get them to speak to you about how their day went, what brought them before you move to the sale. I got all those tips from there. But today, the entitlement, the next thing they do, social media is even easy. They put a camera on them and they're like, yes, I used to work for COD and I can tell you guys that he's very wicked because you give an opportunity to them. Yeah. So 7 in these days is difficult. Out of 10, I could tell you that 9.5 of the people you give the opportunity to will miss it when it comes to service. But they admire what you do. But once you give them the opportunity and they get close, people like us, we have an open heart. So we are easily to open up and get people inside the business. And once they see that, instead of them seeing it as an opportunity to learn deeper things and connect with you beyond employer-employee relationship or employer-intern relationship, they feel entitled. And that's where the mistake is.
We see this every day.
Every single day.
You get the messages. Oh, I want to come and spend some time.
Yeah. Yes.
And sometimes, I've said this in a video before, but one bad apple can destroy a lot of people.
Would destroy
opportunities that you could have given to other people.
Yeah.
So I certainly think that as a generation, we should do better.
True.
There are a lot of talks around, show me the way, show me the way.
Show me the way. Yeah.
You are finally into real estate from your story.
Yeah.
Now you've gotten started with your company.
Yeah.
How did you start without any money?
I did a masterclass in 2022, and that was the theme. How to do real estate with no or little money. I taught it for free. But the next time you hear about that topic, it's going to be a paid class for exclusive people, no less than $1,000. Because when I taught it, I wasn't fully living it. It was after I taught it that my eye opened more to it. And that's one thing about sharing knowledge. The more you share, the more you're enlightened, and the more yourself you're open to reality. Because if you're somebody who challenges yourself, you would always know that once you've said it, people want to see it evident in your life. So you would challenge yourself to manifest that which you are saying.
I just went into my zone, man.
Yeah.
I just went into my zone.
Just settled in.
Yeah.
So to do real estate with no little money, years ago, it was going to be a bit difficult, especially in our ecosystem in Africa, where there's no credit system, there's nothing like mortgages, and even before you qualify for mortgages in other places, you need to have a certain credit score and need to have certain things, But today, social media, personal branding, it's no more a linear experience when it comes to customers or clients. It's an experiential experience people are looking for. So let me make it easier. Somebody, Moses Bliss, Moses Bliss, right? The gospel musician. She saw his wife currently dancing to one of his songs. He saw on his phone. Today, he's married to her. What was the thought process of him seeing the lady dancing to marrying the lady, to getting married to the lady? That is what I'm talking about, the experience. I feel that this could be my wife. And today, it's happening all over the world. I feel like I'm not a woman, I'm a man. I feel like a goat. When did we get here? As a group of people or as human beings, I feel like. So it's telling you that people would want to have an experience of connected minds. I connect. You even use the right word. Somebody is watching this podcast and be like, I connect with COD.
Yeah.
How? It's an experience of it. So I tell people, instead of just coming to sugar your bottles or take some selfie, why don't you go to the property? Because this is how I did it. After 9 months of being in that real estate company, I was like, okay, I think it's time to bail out. Because as an estate officer, I was able to do some few deals. I was able to bring in some few referrals, some few rental properties. I'm like, okay, let me do it. And the only thing I could do was social media. Take pictures of the property, post it, and write a nice caption, boost it. Then we also need to understand what the Bible said. The children of Issachar understood the times and seasons. That the big corporations you see today were not created just on the go. You see me today, you admire me, I've taught you the way, but you don't wake up and want to achieve and have the results I have today. Because I've gone through the mill of that process already. If you're starting today, you might not get my results. You can start and get my results. It's nature, it's the universe. But typically, you're supposed to also build. So you might take the picture today and get 1 like, get 2 likes, get 3 likes. When you called me, I went to Connected Minds. I've watched it. There were 200 views, 500. Now we're on 60,000, 70,000. This one is about to hit 500K. We have 1 million coming. The subscribers are going to hit 2 million. It's a process. It's time. Will bring you everything. It says, for I know the promises that I have unto you, and it's for an appointed time. Even God's promises are time-bound. Why are you going ahead of yourself?
There's going to be a day on this podcast where people will speak so much that I'll get up and I'll be like, no, you carry on the interview because, why?
Yeah.
It's a lot of, little things that people don't understand.
It's just, and bro, I tell people, I don't want to sound like a man of God, but even with physical and spiritual, people nowadays say spiritual, my boy spirit, my boy sunsunya. Even between physical and spiritual, it's a thin line. It's a thin line. And it's the same thin line between failure and success.
Yes.
It's a very thin. So if you don't take care, you miss it. And when you miss it, you will take forever to find it. You know why? Because there's now a huge army coming from a developed world. We call them disappearance, that are coming with the heat.
Yeah.
And they are not here to play. So you dare not get the opportunity and miss it for people like me who are local folks. Don't do that to yourself. So when I see people on social media and all they are interested in is to bash the next person, whilst somebody is sitting somewhere in the UK and the US studying how Ghanaians react to things, okay, so when I open my shop, all I need is to get some social media influencers to come and take pictures in the shop, and I need to give them some light and give them a space to take pictures because they are all about taking pictures when they come to places. Okay, so this the thought process of that army coming.
Just to buttress what you're saying, I have a group of Lebanese friends who do a lot of business in Ghana.
Wow.
Now, when they first came in, it took them 2 years. You know what they were doing?
No.
Market analysis. Just to understand how we behave.
Yeah.
And today, they're killing it.
They would kill it.
Yeah.
And then you know what we'll do? After a while, when we identify these people, crucify them. They are stealing our businesses. They are stealing our this. They are stealing our that. But when you had the opportunity, what did you do? What did you do with it? Yeah.
You've mentioned this.
Yeah.
And you spoke about taking pictures and, of the projects and all of that. What's the next step after that?
So the next step after that is to go into personal branding. People are not buying properties from COD properties because they just love the properties. It's because it's COD. That's why my Instagram handle is it's COD. It's me. Yeah. They're buying because of the experience they're having with me. They are buying because of my presentation. They are buying because when everybody was just taking pictures, I thought about it and I said, how many of these top clients that I want to meet would be able to drive with me to the property? Why don't I take the property to them? So I started creating video content, giving them full home tours. Now look at my understanding. But somebody will feel he wants to be famous. No. I said, these people will not get time. Those people that I want to meet with the $1 million, the $200,000, $500,000, the $100,000 are business people. How many properties can you show them in a day? But what if I can share 10 links to them? They can give it to their wife, their kids, go through, and they make a choice. And so I built a personal brand. I was shooting videos with cars that were not mine. But today I own one of those cars.
You manifested it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I was telling you I saw that car. I saw the car somewhere. And I said, that's definitely your car.
Yeah.
So today when you were coming in.
When you saw it.
Yeah. Today when
even with the choice of color.
Yeah.
I like it like that.
Yeah.
When you move, you should be able to be, that's the guy.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
So you know what happens then? Maybe I'm going ahead, but when somebody is inviting you, like people invite me to speak in other countries, they're like, okay, when we went to this page, he was in business class. So if we're bringing him, he needs to business. If we're bringing him, we need to give him security. If we're bringing him in, we need to give him this kind of hotel.
Yeah.
It works, so.
They've bought into the lifestyle.
It works. It works. It's universal. All the big names in real estate you're hearing, Grant Cardone, Ryan, owning Manhattan on Netflix. He just started like 3 years ago. I just watched it on Netflix. Everything, social media. Everything, social media. And why is it working? Experiential. Who is behind connected minds? Anybody can have connected minds. But why would I want to sit with a person to have a conversation?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, that's the physical. Let's go into the mind.
Yeah.
The mindset.
Yeah.
The type of person that you have to be
Yeah.
in here to be able to realize whatever dream that it is that you have.
Yeah. In here, especially being in Africa, you need to be strong in here. And you need to find, first, you need to tell yourself, what kind of clientele are you looking to work with? So me, I cut it up. Like I said, luxury. I want to meet certain class of people. So that is my market. So I had calls. People are like, oh, I'm renting a property in this area. I'm like, oh, I don't do that. I'm selling this area. I can't go there. And then my friends were like, hey, you will not survive. You need to have the little monies to get it built. And I'm like, no. Once you pick that market brackets for yourself, you need to make sure you stick to it. And that's also here. You need to train this to understand that if you want to meet people with a 200, 300, 500,000 USD, it won't take a day. And it takes a process. And that process is waiting and waiting. So you're growing this mindset of yours. And you also need to look for like-minded people to associate with, because it's not going to be easy. It will get to a point where you need that shoulder to cry on. It will get to a point where you need that person to call at 2 a.m. to like, bro, I can't sleep. And he needs to say something to your ears. So I'm not going to make it sound easy, like, oh, yeah, you just build a personal brand and you go. No, you need that association. And that helped me. I had some guys that were doing so well, and they were always telling me, yo, that's how we do it. This is how you do it. This is where you need to be. You want to meet this person, you need to go to this places. Just calm down. It's time. You're getting close. Just hold on. So association is one of the big things for me. Yeah, it really helped me to keep building that mental capacity.
You had a pretty good job.
Yeah.
You were getting a little bit of fame.
Yeah.
At your own level.
Yeah.
You decided to start your own company.
Yeah.
Such a crazy thought, but it's a beautiful one.
Yeah.
At which point within that did you think, nah, maybe this one may not work?
I think after like a year, I felt like, can we go look for another job? Or can we just go back to this media thing? Because it wasn't working. Yeah, it wasn't working. And especially because of the kind of people I wanted to work for. There was, I just give you a background story. You are not there. When they meet, the first thing I ask you, you're a butcher boy, and I say, oh, you're a prempe, and now you're doing.
Right.
Me, Nibi. They're going for homecoming, whatever parties they are doing, and they are having their connections. I'm not in there, so I can't meet these people. So how do I survive? The few that comes in are rental. Don't forget, I'm trying to sort out the family because I'm still the firstborn and I'm trying to make things work back home. So the little you get, you have to. And I realized that, whoa, this thing called entrepreneurship is not a joke. Yeah, it's not like now you wake up and you have 24 hours to make it happen and you have 7 days and nobody is going to be on you. You know when you have a boss that is giving you like a checklist of what you have to do, and sometimes regardless of whether you do it or not, the salary will come. But this one, you have to do it before it comes in. I'm like, let me just stop and go back to just being this media person that I wanted to do, because at least I would get some MC jobs out of it and still get my salary from this side. Yeah. So after a year, I just wanted to pack out, and I'm like...
But why didn't you? Because it's easier, right, to just quit?
It's easier to just quit, but if you don't do it, who will do it? If you quit, who will do it? So I'm like, no, let me just try it again. And always at that point of giving up, God has his own way of bringing me a certain good deal. And then he keeps me in there. Then after like 2 months, I want to give up. And then he brings another deal. Then, so it's like that. But you need to understand that life, that roller coaster is always going to be there. Even at this level that I sit with you, it's happening.
It's still happening in all of our businesses.
So until you understand this, you would quit, start, quit, start, quit, start. And now you join the masses to envy and jealous every success.
Today, one of my workers asked me, how do you get to $2 million without failure? And I said, you should remove the without.
Without failure. Yeah, you need to fail.
Just remove the without.
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to get to 2 million, then you need failure.
Yeah. Bro, you need to fail. Now, let me tell you, I said 9 months I left the company. I made it look like I resigned. I didn't. They sacked me. I was fired. I was fired. Yeah. So I failed at real estate. So I shouldn't even have started my own. I failed. It tells you the mental capacity. And that's why, in as much as you want me to lay out a formula and everything, I still can't take God out of the bracket. I don't know what kept me going on. But there was this energy. It's like, let's go. Let's go. I got you. I'm in the boat. No matter the storm. Let's go.
Today, as you're working in your company, I really want to understand, what exactly in real estate do you do?
So
different
it's a good question you asked me, because sometimes people get confused with it. So we started off as a brokerage company. We were just middle people. So you have your property, we bring you the buyers. And we take commissions. Then in that process, there were new developers trying to explore the market. So they come and they're like, oh, okay, you're a top agent. Can you advise us on how to get into the market and what the clients are really looking for? And that's consultancy. So they moved us into consultancy. And then we had clients coming and they're like, oh, I love this property. I wish it was a 3-bed instead of a 2-bed. This one, can you build it? Can you build it something? I'm like, okay. I have a civil engineering background. I have classmates. I know architects. Can we come together and start a development company or a construction company? And then construction came. But in all this, I still have not thrown away the seed, which is the agency. We still operate in all these. It doesn't mean that because now we are doing our own properties, we are not selling other people's properties. It doesn't mean that now we are building for people in the diaspora. So that's the mistake a lot of people do. When they make money from a certain business to start a new one that seems to do well, they kill the seed. But that is your biggest mistake, because where did the consultancy come from? Where did the construction come from? It came from the agency. So we are still strong and still doing well, not just in Ghana, in other African countries, selling properties big time. Yeah.
You were recently in Nigeria or South Africa?
Recently, I was in Turkey and Tunisia. Yeah. But we're in South Africa, in Kenya, in Rwanda, in Nigeria, and Dubai. And recently in Turkey and Tunisia is more of the construction side. Yeah, just to bring in different construction materials to improve construction. Yeah.
No, it's been beautiful.
Yeah.
You've done amazing, man.
Thank you.
I have to say that.
Thank you.
You know, there are a lot of people who, especially because you didn't come with capital.
No.
You're not like some of us who have, lived abroad and there's a bit of capital, right?
No capital.
So you've done amazing.
Yeah.
And I think this is why this conversation especially is very good for the average young Ghanaian.
Yeah.
Who is, because a lot of the people I've interviewed have been diaspora.
Diasporans coming in. I've seen those conversations. Yeah. We are local people. We've gone through the mill, like the maize, you put it in the corn mill and we've tried it. We've been shaken so many times, and then stuck in there.
Today, people think it is not possible.
It is.
Well, this is what they think, and you know that.
It is.
They think it's not possible.
I'm currently on X, trending on X, because I dropped the video. I dropped the video on personal branding.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, I'm sad to say it, but they don't see it. And I don't blame them, because I've been in that bracket before. It was difficult for me to understand that somebody, without even physically seeing you, can trust you by watching visuals of you on a screen and release money to you. It was difficult for me to see. It was difficult for me to see that I can leave my country and go to another man's country and work with somebody, and by virtue of working with the person will get an opportunity to have a show on BBC. It was difficult to see. It was difficult to see that I could go to another man's country and work with the person, and the person will tell me, are you from Africa? What mindset do you have? Why do you do this thing freely? How does it come to you? You've never gone to any media school. You've never done anything with production. You've never done real estate as a profession, like a course, and you can take a property in 40 minutes and run through a $6 million property like it's eating. He needs to script. He needs to sit with a production team. I come from another country, from the flight straight to the set, and I do it under 40 minutes. Who are you? And I say, I'm the guy who says, if I don't do it, who will do it? So all the energy you see is not complacency. It's the energy from a place of survival.
Yeah.
But a lot of people would confuse it. Guy there, how he's walking, he even looks complacent, but it's all part of the journey. Yeah, it's difficult for the youth to see it. It's sad, but that's the honest truth.
You know, the guests we pick for Connected Minds are really connected.
Yeah.
And when I sit here and then someone speaks and it hits me, I'm like, whoo.
Yeah.
Because I can see the synergy.
Yeah.
I can see that there's a certain level of wavelength where thoughts of high achieving people operate.
Yeah. Yeah. It's serious.
Yeah.
But that's the truth.
Yes.
There's a place where you're picked into.
Yes.
And it can either come to you naturally, or it can come to you through reading, or it can come to you through association, or it can come to you through education. In any way you receive yours, you still need to be in that cloud to experience why the thing hits you and it's like you have goosebumps. Yeah. You need to be there. You'll be surprised that somebody will watch everything we are doing now and be like,
what are they talking about?
Yeah.
What are they talking about?
Yeah.
And I understand.
Yeah.
You know, we were just talking about the Bible verse.
Yeah.
You know, do not cast pearls before swine.
Don't cast your pearls.
You know, people will not get it.
Yeah.
But I hope they get it.
I hope.
I want many people to have that aha, that light bulb moment, the epiphany. You know, I want many people to experience that.
The poor will always be among you.
Yes.
The Bible said so.
Yes.
So a few will get it.
Yeah.
But we pray that much more would open up to receive. Yeah. In one of my videos I did, I said one of the things that I wish I knew before I started business was to learn, relearn, and unlearn. Unlearning is where the difficulty is. A lot of people in this country approach the conversation with a premeditated, existing narrative. So this is how it is done. Why are you here trying to make us look like we don't know our job? It's a pre-existing narrative. And so if you're trying to bring newness, you know what they'll do? They'll find like minds who believe in that pre-existing narrative, incite them, and come after you with the masses.
Yes.
And if you're a weaker vessel, you'd withdraw.
Yes.
But for me, I lost an election. I was mocked with about 30,000 people mocking me in tertiary. I've gone through that mail already, that making fun of people and people laughing at you, and so you cry or you drop like, bro, this is even on the internet. These are people, when you were in your hostel room, they'll come and knock and say, Ore, you failed, you did this. And we've gone through that, and today you feel Twitter or Instagram or your comment will make me stop.
It's crazy.
I'm built differently.
You know, if you struggle to let go of your current situation, you will struggle to walk into the next level of glory. Yeah. You know, and many people do not understand that. Yeah. And you know, I was saying it today, that it's just a belief system that we hold about certain things. Yeah, a pre-existing narrative. We just hold on to it. Yeah. It's crazy. There's a culture. Yeah. 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 But I definitely think that something can potentially change. Yeah. But let's see how that goes. What do you want to be remembered for? So, in one of my conversations with God, I said, I want to die empty. If you see me doing a lot, like, it's because I don't want to fall 6 feet down, and I didn't serve my generation with everything that I'm endowed with. I carry so much, and I haven't even opened up some of the wells yet. I haven't. Because environment is not giving me the opportunity, because time is not yet up, but we'll open all those wells. I want to be remembered as the man who left empty of himself. The man who put other people's interests first before his. So I have Jira Charity Foundation. It's been like 5 years. Through all the struggles that I shared with you, I was still giving. And that's why it makes people feel like the story does not add up.
Why would you suffer?
But they don't know
And
that
give.
giving is a wealth concept,
But that is where it comes from. When I kneel down and those orphans and those widows that I did their health insurance for them in Asujamain prayed for me. It's the reason why I'll come from a trip and be hit by typhoid, but typhoid can't kill me. The doctor looked at me and said, this is typhoid plus. This is deadly. This can take you out. I said, I'm not going nowhere. There are prayers on my head from people I don't know. And God knows my heart, that when I was doing all those things, I wasn't even, my cup was not full and overrunning, but in my little, I gave my widow's mite out. So that's the man I want to be remembered for.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Desmond.
Yeah.
Motivation or discipline?
Motivation or discipline? Ooh. Discipline. Discipline. I'll go with discipline. Because if you're motivated to do and you are not disciplined to do, you would, let me give you an example, make it easier. So I'm motivated to go to the gym. So I went and I subscribed for 3 months, but I'm not disciplined to wake up every morning to go and do all the lifting. So I'll go for discipline.
Right.
Motivation is not enough. Yeah, discipline.
I still have a few questions I want to ask you.
Yeah.
But you have your own audience, and so do we.
Yeah.
And I want to say that if you haven't subscribed, please do leave a comment down. Let me understand so far what you think about this conversation, because it has taken me 360 several turns in my mind. And I hope someone gets it. Stick with us. Now, what's the best advice you ever received?
The best advice I ever received is that the limitation of a man's mind is a measure of his thoughts. The limitation of a man's mind is a measure of his thoughts. When you go to the law court, they say, stretch your hand. Where your hand ends is where what? Your right ends. But in the court of life, where your hand ends is where your life starts. If you limit yourself to your environment, to who you are, to your background, you'll be limited in your things you do. If you're able to look beyond, so I sit here, I close my eyes, and I imagine myself touring a property in Cape Town, $30 million. The guy from somewhere in the eastern region. What will happen to me is that my body would begin to adjust itself to that thought pattern. So if I want to look a certain way, the body will say, no, you are the big man you want to be, so you don't dress like this, you don't talk like this. So the limitation of a man's mind is a measure of his thoughts. If you can't see it, you can't have it. So we see before we become. But you know the narrative? Seeing is believing. So they want to see before they believe. But if you want to win this thing called life, you need to believe before you see.
Yeah. You know, it is not possible for me to finish an episode without asking this question.
Okay.
Because I'm a big believer of reading.
Yeah.
And I like to believe that to be able to move to that level of frequency of thoughts, you must be a reader too. What's your favorite personal development book?
So, you know the thing about me, reading has never been my thing. I'm more of an audiovisual person.
Okay.
So, the books I have, and that's one of the challenges I want to throw. Maybe you might not get the time to sit down, but now, by way of technology, you can plug in your earpiece or have your headset, and
listen.
then you listen to these books being read
To you.
over and over again. For me, one of the books that really changed my thought pattern is a book that was written by my pastor, Reverend Dr. Cwesi Oteng Desmond. Yeah. It's the 7 financial principles. I think everybody needs to get it. Yeah. That book would help you to develop yourself and also open up your mind into certain dimensions when it comes to dealing with yourself and money. That's one of the books I would like to recommend. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Have you got anything for my audience?
We as a company, we're excited about our journey, and there are more great things coming up. There's a lot of partnerships that we are getting into as a company, and so we're looking to announce good projects, affordable projects, beautiful homes, and we are also looking forward to continue to connect with clients across the globe. Beyond business, we are also praying that everybody who is a subscriber or a first-timer when it comes to Connected Minds would be able to be an agent of change that would send the message across. I took time off to sit here because the first time I saw your video on Instagram, I said, this is what we need. These conversations is what we need. I don't know why no traditional TV station has not contacted you to air some of these things on their stations. Because enough of the entertainment and enough of the
Sexual stuff.
sex. Currently, I don't know. Me and my friends, when we sit down, we are even numb to nakedness now because it's everywhere. But let's be that agent of change that would carry the message across. It's difficult, but if we get one agent to send it across, at least if you meet 10 people and you're able to change one, we have another agent of change. And gradually, Africa would rise because Africa is the only continent currently that is giving every single human being the opportunity to create. All these other continents are already developed. What are you going to create? What are you going to show them? But in Africa, we still have the virgin lands. We still have the manpower. So you want to make it happen? Africa is the place you need to be.
Africa is definitely the place you need to be. Remember what I said in one of the episodes. I'm looking for an entrepreneur who is young and vibrant, who thinks that they have an idea that can change the world. To sit here with me, we have a conversation, and if I love the idea or any of my subscribers do, we're willing to invest. Hopefully, that's you. Record a video of that business, of yourself, talking about the business, and just at us on any of the social media platforms, and we're going to find you. I've sat here today and I've spoken with COD. And you know what? Indeed, we are connected minds. If you've been listening, subscribe, be part of the family. My name is Derek Abaite, and I'm out.